Imagine falling asleep in a puddle of water at the bottom of a well. That's gotta be the worst. Whatever, welcome back. I have never felt more alone. Oh. I guess, yeah, getting so close and failing has gotta be, it's gotta be pretty disastrous. It really does. There's nothing we can do in here then, really. I mean, it doesn't seem like it, but it feels like there should have been, right? I guess we got the Matic, we got some sort of reward for coming all the way up here, but beyond that, like, I don't really know why we did all this. I don't really know how this benefits me. And the thing is, I'm really reluctant to leave because I know how long it takes to get back. I mean, it's going to take forever to leave in the first place, but you know, if we ever want to come back and check in on this place again, it's literally like half an hour, 40 minutes even, to walk to here from the start. That is a time commitment. That is a whole ass video, my dude. But I don't see anything else that we can do here. I'm just gonna walk into all the corners just to be 100% sure we can't like Matic our way anywhere. I mean, it is very worth noting that the dude owns a Matic, right? We're very near the surface level. He has, in fact, 2 Matics. Realistically, in a realistic world, if he was that desperate to reach the surface, he could just dig his way out at this point. Look, it's like 2 feet. It's like 2 feet to the surface from here. Just dig up. Just dig up, my man. Have you never played Minecraft? Like, do they not get Minecraft down in the caves? I'm actually infuriated that I didn't get a disappointment for that, by the way. Actually fuming over that. Pure fury. This is my pure fury voice that you're hearing right now. Like, if I'm gonna be fucking blue balled like this for after coming all the way up here, you'd think that maybe, just give me, thank you. You'd think that maybe I'd at least get the in-game sort of acknowledgement of that, you know, but alas, seems not to be. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna remember this place, just so I don't have to manually walk here if I ever need to do so again. I think at some point, and I'm not going to do this immediately, but at some point it's probably going to be worth going back through the big dark tunnel that we just came through with a glowing mushroom. So there is that, so there is probably going to be at least one reason to come back here, even if there isn't technically anything here. There might be something en route. Certainly wouldn't be the first time they've pulled that stunt. But yeah, I think we just leave, don't we? I think we came up here for this. And what this means, you know, just because we haven't immediately been rewarded with anything doesn't mean we're not going to get something as a result of being here, right? The wall could have more conversation options potentially, or, you know, the shade could have new dreams, or, you know, there's things that could happen as a result of this, I understand. Or it could possibly just change what happens after the 400 days. Now that we've been here, we've set that trigger, you know. It's possible. It's possible there has been some sort of, unbeknownst to us, payoff. But currently, fine, I'll grab the coal. Fine, if you insist. If you insist, video game. I'll keep working towards that 100 goal target. It's not happening, but you can't blame a guy for trying, can you? And now we're heading back into the dark. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set him walking. And yeah. So World War III started. Joke, but like, it's pretty fucking pretty fucking scary, honestly, man. Like, I know there's been shit going on in the Middle East for a very long time at this point, but like, Israel apparently just picking a fight with everyone over there, and us essentially being on their side. So, you know, maybe we're the bad guys. Maybe we're siding with Hitler in this particular instance. But who knows? As I say, I don't pretend to know enough about all of that business. But it does seem pretty bad right now. It does seem like tensions are perhaps higher than they have been. Makes me glad to not be living in a major city, because let's face it, no one's nuking a small town in England, are they? I'm safe, fuck the rest of you. But yeah, no, it's pretty spooky, man. It's pretty spooky. I do try to just ignore the news for the most part, but that was pretty unavoidable, I think. It was pretty difficult to not see all that about Iran throwing bombs over Israel's way and all that. Yeah, scary stuff. Scary stuff. That's it. That's my topical conversation for now. That's all I've got for you. I don't really know what else has been happening, to be honest. As I say, I've been avoiding the news as much as possible because it just fucking depresses me, man. It's just too much these days. Like, I've had my moments of being like really politically charged and really, you know, up on everything that was happening, you know, trying to keep up with world events and everything, and it's just so much easier to live life in ignorant bliss, you know? Probably not better for society that we do that, but my god, it makes life easier. I'll just sit here and play my video games, listen to my music. Slowly working on my 5th, I believe, discography ranking video. You should go check those out if you have any interest in the more musical side of the videos I churn out. Been having fun doing those, I really have. Just listening to an artist's entire discography and getting a sort of overall picture of them. It's kind of fun, especially for artists I'm, you know, not as or at all familiar with, which is the case with the one I'm working on at the moment. Big discography as well. It's taken me a while. Especially since it's an artist who's not necessarily in a genre I'm super intimate and familiar with. So I'm having to like give everything quite a few listens for it to really sink in. It's not clicking quite as fast as a lot of stuff does. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun to have something to get like really invested in, you know. I mean, I enjoy these Let's Plays, don't get me wrong, but they're very much just like a vehicle for me to essentially vlog, I guess. I guess that's essentially what I'm doing, you know, just an excuse to just ramble into the ether. Whereas, you know, the music videos, they're more like a focused sort of outpouring of my particular passion or whatever, you know. My passion or whatever. Yeah, I sound really passionate, don't I? But yeah, that's me, man. That's me all over. I'm sorry. I'm not the sort of person to get super like overly energized about anything. Really, I'm a very monotone guy. I can't help it. The way I was born. Honestly, like that sort of thing does wind me up. Like, I'm sure I've rambled about this before, but like if you watch one of those like conventional Let's Plays or whatever, you know, I've done it a few times. I'm not a big Let's Play enjoyer, which is, I guess, kind of ironic considering I fucking make them, but, you know, I'm not someone who watches a lot of them, but, you know, when I've been interested in a game and I've been like, oh, I'll see if, you know, someone's played it and I can sort of get a feel for it myself before I choose to buy or not, and I'll tune in and they'll be like making these over-exaggerated shocked faces on a camera in the corner and screaming and overly enthusiastically rambling about things, and it's like, no, you don't really care this much about this game. This is clearly just what the content mill demands. This is how you get engagement or whatever, isn't it? And it's like, Ugh, it's so fake. It's so fucking fake, man. Call me jaded and cynical all you like, I guess, which I am, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't imagine ever being like that. I'd rather my videos be fucking boring than have to sort of fake a personality for views. It's, I don't know, kind of gross, I think. But there we are. That's just me. How long do you think he's going to be walking? Can anyone remember how long this took last time? It was quite a while, right? Bear in mind he's got to walk all the way there, and then go down the stairs and walk all the way back again as well. Like, there's 2 floors of this shit. And that's just to get to the absolute peak of our previously explored area. From there it's like another 10-15 minutes to get to where we actually want to be. I don't know if you noticed, but my target destination is the White Void, because I wanted to just see if there was anything new there. So once we arrive, do you know what we're going to be doing? We're going to be walking more. But this time I'll be doing it manually and picking up pieces of paper. Now that is pure excitement. That's pure adrenaline. That's high octane pistol pumping gameplay if I ever saw it. I'm really trying to resist the urge to talk about Dragon's Dogma right now. I'm enjoying that game so much, man. I really am. I don't know, it's very counterintuitive of me, I know. Very... what's the word I'm looking for here? Hypocritical. Hypocritical of me to love that game as much as I do, when I will harp on and on about open world games being boring and a lot of just walking from A to B through nothing worlds, and that is essentially the core gameplay loop of Dragon's Dogma 2 and Dragon's Dogma 1 for that matter. It's a lot of, like, you'll have a quest off in a cave somewhere, but the quest itself isn't necessarily the hard part about that. The hard part of it is the sort of challenge, if you will, is sort of managing your resources, your health and your items and everything for the journey there and the journey back afterwards. Like, it's not just you do this quest in this cave, it's the whole thing is like an expedition, and I really like that about it. I really do. I don't think there's any games I can think of that do that, like, at all. Any. Like, certainly not in the sort of modern AAA sphere at the very least. And yeah, it gets a lot of shit for that. A lot of people don't enjoy that, but I genuinely really do. I think that's a really nice change of pace. I mean, obviously I'm a man who is, to a degree, quite impervious to mundanity, considering I am currently just watching a pair of eyeballs bob in the dark for what is probably going to be about 20 minutes. In fact, it's been 13 already, and we're not even halfway there, so... You can knock 5 off for the bit of wandering around it at the start, right? We can call that 5. So it's only been 8 minutes of wandering in the dark, I'm calling that. That's what I'm committing to. It's probably been more than that, I don't know. Time is so meaningless. What is time anymore? What is time? Baby, don't hurt me no more. Yep. Yep. Here we are. I'm not skipping this. I'm not fast forwarding it, sorry. If I have to suffer through this, you have to suffer through it too. There's been a long-standing trademark of this channel, is that when you watch an average Joe Let's Play, you get the game at its best and the game at its worst. You get the full experience, and this is part of the full experience of this game. I hate to admit it, but this is... honestly, this game's bread and butter is mundanity. So, here we are. Here we are. I know I have fast forwarded a couple times in the past, mostly just because my videos were like getting completely out of control and I wanted to wrap it up. But not this time. Not this time. If it takes the entire video to walk to our destination, then I'm not touching the mouse for the rest of this video. I've been trying to think of some other bits and pieces I want to do on the channel. Because I like the sort of first reaction, you know, let's play content, you know, going in blind, experiencing a game for its first time. I mean, obviously I do. I've been doing it for fucking 7 years or whatever at this point. Has it been 7? Has it written? No. 6.5, I think. 6.5. Not quite 7 yet. But it's been longer than it should be, really. I should have given up by now, but I'm a persistent fucker. Yeah, I like this style of thing, but I have enjoyed, you know, it's not a drastic change of pace, but I have enjoyed sort of like the Pokemon Nuzlocke, and I did a run of a Dark Souls mod and stuff, you know, going back to something I'm familiar with, if only because it sort of allows me to, I wouldn't say showcase my skill necessarily, but to have prior knowledge of a game is like, it puts things in a very different context, you know, when you're stumbling in blind, knowing what's cool, what's fun to use, where all the fun secrets are that we can check out, and you know, like it's more interesting from some perspectives, I think. I would like to do a little bit more of that sort of thing occasionally, I think. I will do a third Nuzlocke one day. Because, I mean, spoilers if you haven't watched those two incredibly long-winded series, but I've done 2 Nuzlocke on the channel and both of them fell at the last hurdle, basically. Both of them came very close to success and did not succeed. I'm determined to do one successfully one day. I'm determined to get there. You wouldn't think I'd be that bad at a game made for children, but apparently. But yeah, there might be some other stuff I can dip into. I wanted to get back to doing speedruns of ridiculously niche games. I think that's a fun thing to do, like games that literally have no speedrun records. just recording one and being like, "Hey, look, I'm the world record holder now." It's a fun claim to fame, innit? Yeah, more stuff like that I think might be on the horizon around here. Been thinking I do want to sort of cut back and only sort of run one major Let's Play at a time, shall we say. As I say, recently I've just finished Dredge, but I've had this and Dredge and Blasphemous 2 on the go, and it's been a lot of juggling between multiple games, and I think it's probably better to just commit to one, because I don't have to be like, oh, I haven't played this game in 4 days, what was I last doing in it, you know, like, it's a smoother experience, I think, that way. Wait, is he walking left? Holy shit, we made it to halfway. Holy shit. Progress. Progress. Huzzah! I wasn't paying attention because I tend to just sort of stare into space when I've not got a particular element of the game to focus on, like now. So I wasn't actually looking. Did we, like, swap back with the other body? Did we change back into the other shade? I'm assuming we didn't. I'm assuming the original shade is just gone and we're this one now. Which is definitely a statement. That's definitely saying something. Something about him evolving as a person, changing to, you know, become someone who's ready to face the daylight, ready to show himself to the outside world or whatever. Whether it's like meant to be a positive thing or a negative thing, whether it's like, you know, an improvement as a person or like putting on a mask. It's hard to say, but either way, stuff must have changed in this game as a result of all that. It must have done. There's no way what we just did was purely just to get a Matic. There's no way. I refuse to accept that. It was too narratively important, too hidden behind several puzzles, one of which I had to literally Google to get past. But I mean, even before that, there's been roadblock after roadblock in the way of getting up there, right? Like, to even get to the darkness, to the other shade, we had to bring an illuminated mushroom up there to find the secret second path. In order to do that, we had to solve the mushroom growing puzzle in order to climb up there, and in order to even get to the mushrooms in the first place, we had to do the stuff with Friend. We needed a Matic to get up here as well. There was a good old-fashioned time-based waiting segment at the start of the game before we could even access the top part of the caves at all. Like, there's been so many hoops to jump through to get here. It surely must have some sort of more substantial payoff than what we've had so far. I refuse to accept otherwise. I was really hoping that when I look back in today, like, there would be some sort of indicator that, like, there'd be like a bucket that had been thrown down into the well, or like, just something, you know, some sort of indication that the people had been there and either seen him, or at least, like, he'd seen them, or, you know, something from him standing there for 2 days, or however long I left him, 3 days, I think. But I didn't see anything. I do see something now, though. I see tunnel coming into view steadily. Finally nearly out of the darkness, I think. It's only taken 22.5 minutes. Small time investment, really, isn't it? And hey, kudos to you for sitting through all that, man. Kudos to you. Just listening to me just chat about jack shit for that whole time. I'm talking as if, like, that's going to stop, but he's still got a hell of a long way to walk, and I'm not going to be in control of any of it. I'm not going to be playing this game for probably another 10 minutes yet. So, have we got any more conversation topics? Have we got anything else we can talk about? Ugh. That new Fallout series looks good. Might get around to watching that. I've never been a Fallout guy at all. Even the ones people say are good. I mean, I've not played the original ones, the original ones, you know, was it Wasteland? Was that what the series was called that became Fallout? I can't remember. I've not been clued up enough on that stuff. The top-down ones are what I mean, anyway. I never played them at all, but I played Fallout 3, didn't like it. Played Fallout New Vegas, the one that everyone says is good, and didn't like it. They were just so excessively brown, you know what I mean? I don't know, I don't consider myself to be hugely like visually led, but I do think like some semblance of interesting aesthetic, you know, something to make the game compel me in some way from that perspective would have been really nice. And my god, those games are brown. I tried playing 4 as well when it came out, but I mean, that one was a bit less brown, I'll tell you that much. I appreciated it for being marginally less brown, but still didn't like super click with me or anything. I put a couple hours into it max, I think. And then obviously I didn't touch New Vegas because I have some degree of self-respect. Sorry, New Vegas, that's not what it's called. Fallout 76. Is that the number? 74? No, 76, right, yeah. That's the one I meant to talk about there. Sorry, apologies to New Vegas, I didn't mean to insult that one quite so badly. Yeah, I never touched 76. But the show looks cool. The few sort of snippets I've seen of it, makes it look quite intriguing. I think when I'm not like having to play the game and immerse myself in that world for excessively long periods of time, and it's just 45-minute episodes that are more character driven as well, less just wandering around shooting people. I think I'll probably enjoy that more. So I'm probably gonna jump on that bandwagon. He says. I mean, I've been saying I want to watch the Last of Us series as well. I've not seen that either, so I'm not doing great on that respect. Not really a man of my word on that sort of front, honestly. I always want to watch stuff. I don't have a great deal of free time, and when I do, I usually just rather play a video game, I think I might just be a little bit ADHD these days as well. Not actually. Non-diagnosed and probably not real either, but I've just fallen into the same trap that so many of us have, where our attention spans have just been eroded by the internet, social media, I do find it harder to commit to things that are sort of longer term investments. I mean, half the reason I started this channel in the first place was so that I'd play more games, because I just wasn't anymore, right? This channel primarily has forced me, in the name of quote-unquote content, to play through a bunch of games that I never would have touched otherwise, and a lot of them have been super rewarding. This one less so. We haven't seen the end yet, so I'm not gonna judge it until we get there. But yeah, I have had plenty of issues with this game. But that said, yeah, there's so many games I never would have even known about, probably. Never mind. Let's just stop and eat some mushrooms. Just real quick. Stop and do some munching. Just to mix things up a bit, right? Do something other than walk. Grab it. Did he just... There were 2 mushrooms on the floor a second ago, right? He just picked them both up at once. One of them just ceased to exist when he picked up the other one. Get him down, you lad, come on. There we go. I'm just intrigued now, because I don't know if our latest development has... See? It's different. Or is this just the first one again? Spider. Yeah, there was this is the first one again, isn't it? Now the question is this something that's actually happening? Or is it just literally a dream he's having? Because we've never seen proof that these 2 people actually exist. But we have seen proof that the areas that they're in actually exist. Yeah, so that was nothing new. But I'm curious as to what would happen. Again, not going to do that now because we've literally just left the fucking place, but I'm curious what would happen if we induced a dream at the bottom of the well. That's something to consider. It seems to be 3 mushrooms for a dream, right? So if I eat 2 mushrooms, take one all the way back up there again, lighting up the passageway as I do, so that I can see if there's any other secrets, and then eat that one once I arrive. Probably at the bottom of the well. It's probably the best place to do that. Maybe something cool will come from that. Maybe. Part of me is thinking that I still haven't solved all the puzzles. I got an achievement. It's worth mentioning. In fact, I got 2 achievements. One for discovering how to close my eyes, and one for actually getting past the darkness. So the fact that I got an achievement for that makes me feel like that was sort of the end of the line as far as the puzzles are concerned. But I don't know. There might still be something else to solve up there. There might still be more to it that I just didn't clock onto. In which case, spending all this time walking in the exact opposite direction is probably not ideal, but what else was it going to do? Just sit up there and think for the entire episode? Just rack my brain. What if I? Maybe. Oh dear. Okay, there's coal there. I can't be bothered. I don't care. Is that unfair? Is that unfair that I don't care about what the wall has to say anymore? If he was asking for 50 coal, I would perhaps be slightly more willing to comply with that. That seems like a slightly more reasonable number of coal pieces. 100 it's just not happening. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's not happening. There is zero chance. That's too much coal, my dude. It would take 100 years of being on Santa's naughty list for that. Most people don't live that long. I sure as hell don't intend to. Imagine living to be 100. Like, most people are starting to lose, like, their bodies are usually starting to deteriorate around, like, the late 60s, 70s maybe. You know, you got your arthritis, you'll get vision problems, hearing problems, you know, like, and that's like 30 years before 100. Imagine what a shell of a human being most people are when they get to that age. I've never known anyone reach that age, so I can't specifically comment, but I can only imagine, like, you're just a husk, right? I don't know, I'm sure there's probably some 100-year-olds who are still very vibrant and, you know, fucking go swimming with the girls or whatever, you know, like, go bike riding and stuff. I'm sure they exist, but I'm willing to bet most centenarians mostly just holding on to hit that number, and then they're just like, right, fuck it, I'm done now. Maybe I'll feel different if I ever reach that number myself, I don't know. I don't think it's likely. I do not take anywhere near good enough care of myself. Not even remotely good enough care of myself. Still eat like a teenager. Pizza for dinner every night? Sure. That's normal. That's a normal adult thing to do. That ledge over there, man. Definitely a mushroom job if I ever saw one. And hey, we've got the option to grow mushrooms downstairs now. We do. We've also got that flower from Friend. That's worth remembering as well. I don't know if that does anything at all, but it is a thing we collected. So, might be relevant. Might be relevant somewhere, somehow. Some way. On some level. I'll tell you what I should have done. I'm assuming this would have worked. At the end of the last video, I should have started him walking back to his home. And then logged out. And I assume he would have just done that, like, while I was gone. That's something to consider in future. If I'm ever, like, in the arse end of nowhere, and I know that the following episode all I'm gonna want to do is walk back again, I'll try it. Yeah. The more I'm thinking about this, the more mad at myself I am. The amount of times I've just sort of spent a solid 10 minutes of a video just walking back to the house. Probably could have done it on his own, couldn't he? Probably. Would have meant I wouldn't have got to draw a picture or set him mining the wall or whatever, but even so, I feel like it would have been better. Would have been the smarter thing to do. Oh well, you live and learn. Look at me learning. And living. ticking all the boxes. I can do it all. Multitasking, people call that. This game is a real test. Or I should say, let's playing this game is a real test. Of how long you can keep a one-sided conversation about nothing going. I think I've done okay. Right? I've scrabbled for conversation topics to a almost acceptable degree. I do quite like playing up the awkward silence for a giggle as well, but I know that's amusing no one but myself. I really am one of those people who will just like sabotage his own reputation for a joke, like just sort of paint myself as the worst piece of shit to people I barely know as a joke, and then realise like weeks later that no one else got it but me, you know what I mean? Like, oh, when I pretended I was a creep, people just thought I was a creep. Oh, huh. I guess that makes sense. At least I find it funny though. Gotta amuse yourself if no one else, right? God damn, I forgot how much more walking there was to do once we reached, like, terra firma. Terra deeper. Cava hauler. Once we've reached familiar territory, is what I'm trying to say. That this small area is not actually small. It's actually still quite a lot of fucking walking to do. Gotta get this man some, like, Heelys. You think that would ruin the aesthetic a little bit? If he just kicked back on his Heelys and glided at triple speed from A to B. Probably struggle with the stairs a bit. That's the beauty of the Heelys though, man. You can still walk like normal shoes when you need to. But you can rock back on those heels and glide from A to B. If you don't know what Heelys are, by the way, I understand this may not be like as common knowledge as maybe I think it is, but they were like a huge trend in like the sort of mid 2000s ish. Just trainers with like, or sneakers if you're American, I guess, with a wheel built into the heel. So they were like half roller skate, half shoe. It was an insane time to be alive. Don't think they've made a comeback as of yet, but you know, there's time. Everything's cyclical, isn't it? And we've seen the return of pop punk and new metal, so like anything's possible at this point. Unless I wasn't paying attention, I feel like 90s aesthetics just sort of got skipped over. There was an awful lot of like 80s revivalism for a while there, like a lot of like synth pop being popular and stuff, and people like wearing the neons and the sort of over the top excessive fashion styles or whatever of the 80s. And now it seems like we're in like the early 2000s. We seem to have just skipped everything that happened in the 90s, which, okay, maybe a good thing. I grew up in the 90s, it wasn't all hunky-dory, but sometimes I just want the ultra-radical WWE Attitude Era style of aesthetic to come back, you know? Sometimes I wish I was truly too cool for school. No, if anything, I was not cool enough for school. I didn't handle school very well because I had no friends, which is like the exact opposite of being too cool for school. I think that's probably the issue there. be fair, I got good grades as a result though. So as soon as I got friends, that I started tanking all my studies. Like my A levels did not go well. Now teach me to know people, to socialise. I'm a very one-track minded guy. What can I say? It's like either I focus on my studies or I absolutely don't. There's no in between. Hey, it all worked out in the end though. Drop out of school, kids. Don't do what your parents and teachers say. Things will work out for you eventually like they did for me. I am the worst role model. Yeah, just play World of Warcraft for 5 years and don't do practically anything else. That's fine. That's healthy. We have got to be getting close by now. Surely. There cannot be too many more cave doors to pop through. This video is basically up. We're basically at time. It's gonna have to go a little bit longer. I really want to see what's in the White Void. I feel like there's got to be some prizes for me by now. It seems like it's been a little while. Probably hasn't been that long actually, because I mean, not a great deal of time passed between this video and the last one, and I don't know how many videos it was before that I last checked this place, but at the very least we're going to get some paper. I can promise you that. We will get some paper, which will have made this entire video worth it. Okay, almost ready to touch my mouse again. This is exciting. I might even grab that bit of coal if it's still there when I approach. Wait for it. Now that is excitement. Wasn't that cool? Picked up the coal. Okay, let's do more walking now. I think a bit more walking is exactly what we need just to break up the monotony, you know? I swear to God if it turns out there's nothing in here. I'm not sure what would be worse actually, if there was nothing in here, or if there's just like 20 pieces of paper so that I'm just walking for fucking ever and getting absolutely nothing of relevance. I feel like I just tempted fate by saying that. I feel like I asked for this piece of paper. I do love the idea that in the Shade's little personal reality, he has no access to trees because he lives completely underground. I know there are some roots and stuff like that. I'm pretty certain the king himself is made of tree, but generally speaking, he doesn't have a great deal of access to wood. So the only place he can get paper from is just this mysterious, endless white void of a temple, where paper just appears out of nothing. The developers were clearly like, okay, so we've made drawing a mechanic. We want him to be able to draw pictures. Where the fuck is he going to get paper from? How in God's name is he ever going to gain access to paper? Well, here's your answer. I can't help but notice that we've found exactly one piece of paper and now we just appear to be walking forever again. Do you think it's been long enough that it's worth just turning around? It feels like it's been a minute since that piece of paper. It has in fact been 3. Oh Christ. Oh, fucking Christ. This is not what I wanted to see. Why did I come here? This video could have just been me returning home. Could have just been a pleasant, jolly stroll back home. Instead, I decided to take this fucking detour, didn't I? I'll tell you what, regardless of what happens, if the next thing... Obviously, if we get a message saying that we've walked far enough and we're not getting anything else, we'll leave. But if the next thing is a piece of paper, we're leaving anyway. I'm not going to keep going. I don't care. That's it. This is going to be my cut-off. This is my make or break. We get paper or we get nothing. I just restructured that sentence in my head and realised it made no sense. I get something cool or I get nothing. Fuck paper is my point. Don't need no more paper. We're not pro-paper around here. We're going paperless. Get the app instead. Just get a drawing tablet, nerd. Why are you drawing on paper? Come on now. Just buy yourself a Wacom. What are you doing? I do own a Wacom, by the way. I can't draw for shit. I had a chance at grabbing a cheap Wacom. It's a drawing tablet, in case you're curious. And I was like, sure, I'll grab one. I do internet stuff. That might be useful. Basically used it like twice. Never for anything productive either, just to like see how it works, sort of thing. You know, make sure it's all set up right, all functional. Put it away, never touched it again. I'm not a drawer by nature, I can't help it. I'm not an art boy. That's why I like playing other people's art, so that I don't have to have any myself. Just upload other people's art to my YouTube channel and there we go. It's almost like being creative. I'm very annoyed, by the way, that that was a book, because that's probably the second least interesting thing I could have got in here. But it didn't break my rule, so I have to keep going. Look, regardless of what happens, regardless of anything else, I'm gonna have to walk out of here or else zero time will pass between now and the next video. So even though earlier in this exact video, in this specific video right here that you're watching, I was like, I don't like to fast forward. I think I'm gonna fast forward. I think I will fast forward here. Not here, but once we start leaving to go back, I'll fast forward all the way back home. Cut the crap, so to speak. Probably go get myself a cup of tea while I do it, actually. Get a bit thirsty. Okay, it's paper. It's paper. We're calling it here. Calling it quits. There are no wonders to behold in this void. No more excitement to be found. Merely paper. Get it? And I'll see you back at the house. Hello. I'm still here. Oh, the flower's on the desk now. That's nice. Can we do anything with that? Is there anything to... Is it just a little memento? Oh, we can move it. Oh, I like it on the desk. That's fine. Thanks, actually. Yeah, no matter how long all that took, I'm still going to take the time to draw a little picture. I think we've had an overindulgence of blue recently. Let's see if we can do something with, like, red and yellow. Above. Above feels relevant. Above. Yeah, I ended up not making myself a cup of tea. I put my dinner on instead. That was what I did with my time. Put my dinner on, had a piss. It was great. Wonderful time. Came back here, still had like 10 minutes to wait because it takes a really long time to do anything in this game. I don't know if you've noticed that about it. It's it's a bit of a time investment. But nonetheless, I still wanted to get my drawing done, and I still wanted to set him to work mining out the cave under his house. And that's it. That's where we're going to leave it, I think. So, on that note, thanks for indulging me for this one. We will have more of this relatively soon. There's nothing super pressing, so it'll probably be a bit. What I'll probably do is like 2, maybe even 3 Blasphemous videos, and then return to this again. Make it a semi-regular occurrence, I guess. But yeah, that about. Whoa. Okay, never mind. We're not mining out. We're going to let him build a bed instead. I guess that's pretty important. That's a pretty important thing to do. So we'll leave him doing that. I'll see you for the next one. Bye.